In today's video, I am sharing with you the 4 things you need to build mental toughness and achieve any result you desire. Before we dive in and get started, I want to offer you a free video training on how to reprogram your subconscious mind. You can grab this on my website, heatherhakes.com. All right, I am sharing with you the 4 things you need to build mental toughness, to have that idea of a mindset of a champion. What I'm going to share with you is I just completed an Olympic triathlon, and if you're new to triathlons, I'm going to share with you the distances. So in an Olympic triathlon, the swim is 1,500 meters, which is just short of a mile, followed by a 26.4 mile bike ride, and finally you finish with a 6.2 mile run. The reason I do endurance sports, I've done a triathlon before, but it was just a sprint, which is nearly half of those distances around 3 years ago. But the reason I do endurance sports like this is I really like to put mindset into play. I like to challenge myself. I like to create that mental discipline, because what I learned by hitting the pavement, by doing the work in these physical challenges, they're literally metaphors and lessons for life. I am able to take what I learn in these physical feats and put them towards relationships and business and so much more. So what I want you to understand is my learning of the power of mindset and the need for mental discipline literally correlates to every area of my life. What I want to help you with today is understanding what is needed to have a champion mindset. And a champion mindset, I'm not just talking about athletics. Think of this idea, this phrase, a champion mindset, somebody who is mentally tough, in control of your emotions, so that you can have and live a life that you love. So step number 1 is understanding it takes mental grit. This is, ultimately what I call the mental discipline. There are days when you're going to show up, because I know you have goals in your life. I know there are things that you want to achieve or experience. There are days when you're not going to feel like it. Those are the days you have to have that mental grit and discipline to show up anyway. There are days when you're going to talk yourself out of greatness. Those are the days, again, where you have to reel it in and stay focused, stay on track. Most importantly, you've got to stay consistent. And what I learned in these 12 weeks of training, there were plenty of days I didn't feel like swimming. There were many days when I didn't feel like biking. But I knew that I had to overcome that desire to quit, to not show up, to want to procrastinate, put it off till tomorrow. But I know better, because how you do anything is how you do everything. So again, this 12 weeks, this had nothing to do with the race. I knew by race day I was going to show up and excel because I put in the work for those 12 weeks. I also understand that physical challenges are 90% mindset, but so is life. If you have the right mindset in place, you can literally achieve anything you desire. I love the saying that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you will achieve. I also had to remind myself on race day, I remember the last half miles of that 6.2 run, I wanted to walk. It was hot, I was exhausted, and I wanted to walk. But I remembered, thank goodness for all my training, the quote or the saying that says, the mind will give up before your body does. And I know this to be true. I want you to remember that when you are on your own challenges, when you are not feeling it, your mind will give up before your body does. And so that's why this step number 1 is that mental discipline, that mental grit. If you can talk yourself into it, if you can create the belief, I am telling you, nothing is impossible, absolutely nothing. So step number 2 in creating this idea of champion of a mindset is creating winning habits. I have a morning routine, and I have done this for years. I believe the importance of being proactive with your life, by being mindful and intentional and creating these morning routines, these morning rituals to set myself up for the day. Otherwise, you end up living life by default and constantly reacting to everything around you. It's exhausting. So by setting yourself up for success, by having these non-negotiables, whatever those are for you. For me, it's movement, it's setting intentions for the day, it's meditation, it's really creating that inner peace, that inner stillness with clarity and forward focus before I take on my day. So I want you to think about, how does this relate in your life? What do you need to do to create these winning habits so that you can be proactive in your own life? Again, it's about being mindful and intentional. Step number 3, it's about, there is so much power in visualizing and mentally rehearsing the outcome of whatever it is, whether it's wanting to lose weight, visualizing and mentally rehearsing that financial success you desire, visualizing and mentally rehearsing how a conversation with somebody is going to go, visualizing and mentally rehearsing the kind of life you want to live. Your subconscious mind, and if you haven't yet, grab my free training on my website, heatherhakes.com. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between, quote, reality and what you're visualizing and mentally rehearsing. So if you are visualizing and mentally rehearsing the end result, how you want something to go, you're literally programming your mind to create that reality. And that's exactly what I did in these 12 weeks. When I was swimming in the pool, I was imagining the breath work and what it would be like on race day in open water. Every single run, I was affirming to myself, I am a finisher, I am strong. Those were my affirmations time and time again. And I would visualize and mentally rehearse what it would be like on race day, passing people, high-fiving people. I was prepping my mind for this, and same with the bike. So I want you to know that visualizing and mental rehearsal are very powerful, very potent steps of creating this champion mindset. Step number 4, what I want you to know is that you have to become in control of your emotions, because if you don't control that negative mindset, if you don't control the desire to quit, you're going to quit every time. You're going to fail every time. And I could see it when I was out there on race day. I could see it in people's body language, giving up. Oh, this bike is too hard. Like they were barely getting by. I could see it in people's faces and again, their body language on the run, walking and their hands on their hips. They felt defeated. And with that kind of mindset going into your life, you're not going to excel. But I want you to know that success is 100% possible for you. Success is inevitable when you get that mental grit, when you get your mindset right. And for me, on the run, that last mile, this guy, we had both stopped at the aid station and got a drink of water. And he said to me, "Dang, you're a steady Betty." And I loved that. He called me a steady Betty because we kept kind of playing this leapfrog game. I would get in front of him and he would catch up to me, but I would get in front of him and he would catch up. And for me, it was about creating a steady pace. I wasn't racing anybody out there. My only competition was me. But for me, I didn't want to stop and walk, because for me, if you stop and walk, if you pause, if you fall off track, it is so much harder to get back on. So I was much more about consistency, keeping a desired pace, staying just outside of my comfort zone, pushing myself, because remember that chunk in which I wanted to walk, I didn't. So I want you to take this into your own life, how to create your own idea of a champion mindset. And here are the 4 steps in summary. Once again, step number 1, creating that mental grit, that mindset, that unstoppable space in between your ears. Step number 2, creating winning habits and staying consistent. Step number 3, visualizing and mentally rehearsing your ideal outcome. And finally, step number 4, you've got to be in control of your emotions, or your emotions will control you. Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you're the first to know when new videos drop. And if you liked this or got a nugget of information, give me a thumbs up. I'll catch you on the next video.